2017 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid. Only America's most ardent pragmatists choose minivan function over crossover fashion. The country's refusal to acknowledge the family van's myriad virtues, unparalleled people-carrying comfort, unmatched interior volume, and unequaled interior flexibility, might be its greatest automotive sin. Stigma, then, is strong with the guardian of the sliding door. Yet Chrysler defiantly marches the minivan forward with the electrification of its Pacifica, possibly the most significant innovation since sliding doors appeared on both sides of its 1996 vans. Starting with the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 found in the standard Pacifica, FCA engineers swapped the pistons, camshafts, and valves, bumped the compression ratio, and added Atkinson cycle capability to maximize efficiency. Then they bolted the gas mill to a continuously variable planetary gear transmission that houses two electric motor generators. Add-on electron propulsion never comes without compromise, however, and the Pacifica Hybrid suffers the loss of the underfloor bins where the second-row seats normally stow. That space instead harbors a 16.0 kWh lithium-ion battery pack that fully charges in 2 hours on a 240-volt, 30-amp circuit or in just over 14 hours using a 120-volt wall plug. The upshot is a relatively long electric-only range, which we measured at 30 miles in 30-degree weather. Chrysler claims 33 miles using the EPA's methodology. But there is technically no all-electric mode, or any other selectable mode, for that matter. Chrysler says that minivan customers don't want to have to think about maximum efficiency, so the company sets the powertrain parameters and that's that. But in a minivan, where utility rules, electrification must be more than a political statement. Added value is a must. The EPA rates the Pacifica Hybrid at 84 mpg when it's operating solely on electricity from the grid. But using electricity and gasoline, we observed 28 mpg. Considering that the gas-only Pacifica yielded 20 miles per gallon in our hands, and assuming 12,000 miles driven annually, the hybrid needs more than 8 years to recover, in fuel cost savings. It's $2,100 premium over a top-trim Pacifica Limited. But factor in the $7,500 federal tax credit and the plug-in hybrid is cheaper than the van it's based on. This Pacifica might finally pack enough practicality to outweigh its stigma. Who are we kidding? In the face of fresher competition from Chrysler and a new version of the Honda Odyssey, the Toyota Sienna remains a popular choice, as Toyota's well-earned reputation for reliability is a compelling notion for buyers of a hard-use vehicle like a minivan. There's also the fact that Toyota has strived to keep the Sienna in the hunt. Hard transplant. For 2017, that effort takes the form of a new powertrain. The Sienna's 3.5-liter V6 is a familiar size and configuration, but this engine is all new. Swiped from the Highlander, the V6 can switch between the typical Otto cycle and the fuel-sipping Atkinson cycle, and it employs port and direct fuel injection, sometimes simultaneously, as needed. Despite the high-tech features, it's still happy to drink regular fuel. The new V6 pairs with an 8-speed automatic that's a worthy upgrade from the previous 6-speed. 8 forward ratios may not make any headlines next to the Pacifica's 9-speed gearbox and the 2018 Odyssey's 9 and 10-speed units, but the Sienna's transmission is pretty adept at choosing the right ratio, something that can't always be said of the Pacifica. With the new powertrain, the Sienna is good for an EPA-rated 19 miles per gallon city and 27 miles per gallon highway with front-wheel drive. As on our test example, all-wheel drive lowers the city number by 1 mile per gallon and knocks 3 off the highway figure. Those figures put the FWD Sienna about on par with the Pacifica's 1928 city, highway EPA ratings, and it ties the outgoing Odyssey. Our observed mileage was 20 miles per gallon. We've seen 20 and 22 miles per gallon in two recent tests of the Chrysler and 22 miles per gallon with the older, and soon-to-be replaced, Honda equipped with a 6-speed auto. The Toyota's new ticker pumps out a robust 296 ponies, 30 more than before, along with 263 pounds-to-foot of torque, up from 245. That horsepower figure is tops among minivans, and this particular Sienna is the quickest we've tested, scooting from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.8 seconds. And should mom or dad be emboldened to take the family minivan to the drag strip, they can be confident in its ability to outrun any Pacifica or pre-2018 Odyssey that shows up. Based on our quarter-mile results of 15.5 seconds at 93 miles per hour in everyday driving, the Sienna responds with alacrity. Gun on a freeway entrance ramp, and the Sienna lunges forward, to the point of even inciting a bit of torque steer in front-drive models like our test car. We also have tested the Sienna with all-wheel drive, a feature the competition doesn't offer. See the SE. Our Sienna was the SE Premium trim, a purportedly sporty model that comes with its own specific tuning for the suspension and power steering. The result won't be confused with a BMW M5, but the firmer suspension at least wards off the woozy ride motions that minivans often suffer. The SE's 19-inch wheels are wrapped in 50 series tires, so there's still a decent amount of sidewall to cushion sharp-edged bumps. And while the steering offers no road feel, its elevated effort levels keep it from being annoyingly overboosted, another common minivan affliction. At 0.73 grams on the skid pad, the Sienna trailed the last Odyssey, 0.77 grams, and Pacifica, 0.78 grams, that we tested. The Toyota's 184-foot stop from 70 miles per hour places it between the two. We recognize, of course, that a minivan is judged less by its own moves than by how well it moves people and their stuff. The Sienna's second-row chairs are fairly comfortable, and Toyota even fits a removable center seat, which is standard on this SE and some other trims. It's a narrow perch suitable only for a skinny passenger, but it could be useful for dealing with a last-minute addition to the carpool. The second-row buckets do not tuck into the floor, as on Stow and Go-equipped Pacifica models, but the seats can slide all the way forward, snug up against the front seat backs, to make room for a large cargo. They also can scoot all the way back to nudge up against the third row, meaning that passengers, or their parents, can parse out legroom as needed between the second and third rows. Assuming the middle row isn't in its most rearward position, the third row is quite habitable and includes pop-open vent windows with sunshades. Behind it is a deep well for luggage, an advantage that minivans have over nearly all three-row crossovers. The 39 cubic feet of cargo space back there not only eclipses that of a Chrysler, 32 cubes, and the Honda, 38, it ties the immense Chevrolet Suburban. Up front, the driver enjoys a supportive seat, but some may find that, even though the steering column tilts and telescopes, the steering wheel is rather far away. Toyota, thankfully, retains a conventional gearshift lever, and the Sienna's analog instrument cluster is highly readable. Standard on the SE and above is a configurable TFT screen between the main gauges showing trip computer information, a digital speedometer, or audio info, among other things. The sharp and clear infotainment screen in the center of the dash is abetted by volume and tuning knobs. The climate control system uses large knobs and a few physical buttons, making it easy to use. Our SE had a practical, all-black interior with white contrast stitching and bits of carbon fiber look trim providing some not terribly convincing racy touches. Nor can we endorse the SE's special bodywork, which consists of lower side skirts and front and rear fascias that serve only to make this big box look even bigger. Toyota, though, must be enamored of it, since it's making the SE's side sills standard on all models for 2018. Not so high-tech. The Sienna's age shows, however, in the lack of USB ports for second and third row occupants. Also, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are not supported. The rear climate controls and AC vents are somewhat awkwardly located on the ceiling behind the driver's headrest, although the rear climate also can be adjusted via the main vac controls. The 2018 version of this van, which has already been revealed, addresses some of this model's shortcomings. Toyota is adding Wi-Fi on the and higher trims and, on top-spec models, a 360-degree view monitor and the ability to stream video from Android devices to the rear seat entertainment system. More significantly, the 2018 model makes standard automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning with lane keeping assist, and automated high beams. Currently, only the top-spec Limited Premium offers automated emergency braking and adaptive cruise control, and they're optional. Blind spot monitoring and rear cross-traffic alert are standard on the SE Premium and higher, optional on the SE. That the 2017 iteration of this Toyota trails in tech and features may not be a critical failing to some buyers, however. For minivan shoppers who don't require the latest gadgets, this Sienna gets the basics right and continues to be easy to live with.